Stop trying to figure people out by what they say. Words are the least honest thing about a person. If you want to see who someone really is, you need to look at what they're not showing you. Today I'm going to share 18 psychological truths that will completely change how you read people. And by the end of this, you'll never be fooled again. Most of us walk through life taking people at face value. We listen to their words, we trust their smiles, we believe their promises, and then we get disappointed. We get hurt. We wonder why we didn't see it coming. But here's the thing, the signs were always there. We just didn't know what to look for. Human behavior follows patterns. Psychology reveals these patterns, and once you understand them, reading people becomes as natural as breathing. These aren't tricks or manipulation tactics. These are truths about human nature that have been observed for thousands of years. Let's get into it. We live in a world of masks. Everyone you meet is performing to some degree. They're managing their image, controlling their narrative, hiding their insecurities. And that's not necessarily bad. It's human. But it creates a problem. How do you know who to trust? How do you know who's genuine and who's playing games? How do you protect yourself from manipulation while still staying open to real connection? The answer isn't to become cynical or paranoid. The answer is to develop awareness, to understand what's really happening beneath the surface of human interaction. Because when you can read the hidden signals, when you can spot the gaps between what people say and what they actually mean, everything changes. Your relationships improve, your decisions get better, you stop wasting time on people who don't deserve it. But this skill doesn't come naturally to most people. We're taught to be polite, to take people at their word, to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. And while those are nice values, they leave us vulnerable. So let's fix that. Let's dive into the psychological truths that will help you see people clearly. Truth 1. People tell you who they are through their actions, not their words. This is the foundation of reading people. Words are easy. Anyone can say anything. I love you. I'll be there for you. You can trust me. These phrases cost nothing, but actions require investment. They require consistency. They require truth. When someone shows up for you repeatedly, that's real. When someone keeps their promises without being reminded, that's real. When someone's behavior matches their words over weeks and months, that's when you know who they are. Pay attention to the gap between words and actions. That gap tells you everything. If someone constantly talks about loyalty but betrays confidences, you know what's true. If someone says they value you but never makes time for you, you know what's true. Stop listening to the soundtrack. Watch the movie. Truth 2. How people treat others is how they'll eventually treat you. Watch how the person you're getting to know treats wait staff. Watch how they talk about their ex. Watch how they handle disagreements with strangers. This is who they are when the mask slips. This is who they are when they think it doesn't matter. And here's the hard truth. However they treat those people, that's how they'll treat you once the novelty wears off. Once you're no longer new and exciting, once you're familiar, you become just another person in their world, and they'll treat you accordingly. Someone who gossips to you will gossip about you. Someone who lies to others will lie to you. Someone who's cruel to people they consider beneath them will be cruel to you when you disappoint them. Character isn't situational, it's consistent. Truth 3. Discomfort with silence reveals insecurity. Comfortable people can sit in silence. They don't need to fill every moment with noise. They're at peace with themselves. But insecure people panic when conversation stops. They need constant validation through interaction. They need to be seen, heard, acknowledged every single moment. Watch what happens when you stop talking. Does the other person relax into the quiet, or do they scramble to fill the void with meaningless chat? This tells you about their relationship with themselves. People who can't handle silence can't handle their own thoughts. They're running from something internal. And that internal chaos will eventually spill into your relationship with them. Truth 4. Eye contact patterns reveal confidence and honesty. The eyes don't lie, but not in the way most people think. It's not about whether someone maintains eye contact or avoids it. It's about the pattern. Liars often overcompensate with too much eye contact, because they know that's what honest people supposedly do. Nervous people might avoid eye contact, not because they're dishonest, but because they're anxious. What you're looking for is baseline behavior and deviations from it. Watch someone's natural eye contact pattern. When they're comfortable, then watch what happens when sensitive topics come up. If someone who usually maintains steady eye contact suddenly can't look at you, that's significant. If someone who's usually shy suddenly locks eyes with intense focus, that's significant. The change matters more than the behavior itself. Truth 5. The speed of response tells you their priority level. In our connected world, response time is a choice. When someone really cares, they respond quickly. Not because they're sitting around waiting for your message, but because you're on their mind. They see your name pop up, and they feel pulled to engage. When someone takes days to respond to simple questions, when they leave you on read regularly, when they're always too busy for a quick reply, you're not a priority. And that's fine. But you need to know. Stop making excuses for people who don't make time for you. Their phone didn't die for 3 days. They weren't that busy. They made a choice about where to invest their attention. And it wasn't you. Respect that information and adjust accordingly. The language of behavior. Truth 6. Crossed arms aren't always defensive. Body language is useful, but it's also wildly misunderstood. Everyone thinks crossed arms means someone is closed off or defensive. Sometimes they're just cold. Sometimes it's comfortable. Sometimes it's habit. What matters more than isolated gestures is clusters of behavior. Look for multiple signals pointing in the same direction. Crossed arms plus turned away body plus minimal eye contact plus short responses. Now you have a pattern. Now you have meaningful information. Don't read too much into single gestures. Look for consistency across multiple channels. What is their face saying? What are their words saying? What is their body saying? What is their energy saying? When all of these align, you can trust the message. Truth 7. Over-explaining is usually covering something. Honest people give straightforward answers. They explain what needs explaining and stop. Dishonest people over-explain. They give you way more detail than you asked for. They keep elaborating without prompting. Why? Because they're trying to convince you. They're trying to convince themselves. They're building a wall of words to hide behind. When someone launches into an elaborate story about why they were late, why they can't help you, why they did something questionable, pay attention. The complexity is suspicious. Truth is usually simple. Lies require architecture. Truth 8. People who are always the victim are usually the problem. Listen to how people tell their stories. Is every relationship that ended someone else's fault? Is every job they left because of a toxic boss? Is every friendship that faded because the other person changed? If someone is always the victim in their own narrative, they're not being honest with themselves or you. Life doesn't work that way. Sometimes you're the problem. Sometimes you're the one who messed up. Sometimes you're the toxic one. People who can't take accountability for anything are dangerous. They will never see their role in conflicts with you either. Every argument will be your fault. Every issue will be your failure. You can't have a healthy relationship with someone who refuses to own their part. Truth 9. Humor reveals pain. Pay attention to what people joke about. We joke about the things that hurt us. It's a coping mechanism. It's a way to talk about painful truths without the vulnerability of sincerity. Someone who constantly makes self-deprecating jokes doesn't have healthy self-esteem. Someone who always jokes about relationships probably has trust issues. Someone who makes everything into dark humor is probably dealing with something heavy. Humor is a window. It shows you what someone thinks about when their guard is down. It shows you where their pain lives. Don't dismiss jokes as meaningless. They're often the most honest thing a person says. The psychology of interaction. Truth 10. People mirror those they like. Mirroring is unconscious. When we like someone, when we feel connected to them, we naturally start matching their energy. We adopt similar postures. We match their speaking pace. We use similar phrases. This happens without thinking. So when you're with someone, watch for mirroring. Are they matching your energy? Are they leaning in when you lean in? Are they reflecting your engagement? If yes, there's genuine connection. If they're consistently doing the opposite, if their body language contradicts yours, if they seem to be pulling away while you're moving closer, the connection isn't mutual. This works both ways. You can also notice your own mirroring behavior. If you find yourself naturally matching someone's energy, that's a good sign. If you notice yourself consciously resisting their energy, your intuition is telling you something. Truth 11. Generosity with strangers, stinginess with loved ones, is a red flag. Some people perform generosity. They're incredibly giving in public. They pick up checks at dinners. They volunteer visibly. They make grand gestures where people can see. But with their close relationships, they're stingy. They nickel and dime. They keep score. They resent giving without recognition. This pattern reveals that their generosity isn't about giving. It's about image management. It's about how they're perceived. True generosity is quiet. It shows up most powerfully in relationships where there's no audience. If someone treats you worse than they treat strangers, it's not about you, it's about what you represent. You're not a prop for their image. You're a real person with real needs. And they resent that. Truth 12. The need to always be right reveals deep insecurity. Confident people can be wrong. They can admit mistakes. They can say, I don't know. They can change their minds when presented with new information. Insecure people can't. They have to win every argument. They have to be the expert on everything. They have to correct you even on minor points. Why? Because their ego is fragile. Being wrong feels like annihilation. You can't have meaningful conversations with people who always need to be right. You can't grow with them. You can't explore ideas with them. Everything becomes a battle, and battles are exhausting. Hidden signals of character. Truth 13. How someone handles your success reveals their character. This is one of the most revealing tests. When something good happens to you, watch people's reactions. Genuine people celebrate with you. They're excited. They ask questions. They share your joy. Jealous people minimize your success. They change the subject quickly. They find ways to diminish what you accomplished. They bring up their own achievement. They can't handle your light because they feel it dims their own. You want people in your life who can be genuinely happy for you. Not people who tolerate your success. Not people who fake enthusiasm. People who actually feel joy when good things happen to you. Those people are rare. Keep them close. Truth 14. Consistent lateness is about respect, not time management. We all know someone who's always late. They have elaborate excuses, traffic, lost track of time, crazy morning. But here's the truth. Lateness is a choice about priorities. People are on time for things that matter to them. Job interviews, flights, first dates. They're late for things they don't value as highly. If someone is consistently late with you, they're telling you where you rank. Their time is more valuable than yours. Their convenience matters more than your inconvenience. Occasional lateness happens to everyone. Consistent lateness is disrespect wrapped in apologies. Truth 15. The way people handle small commitments predicts big ones. Don't wait for major situations to reveal someone's character. Watch the small things. Do they return borrowed items? Do they follow through on minor promises? Do they show up when they say they will, even for casual plans? These small commitments are rehearsals for bigger ones. Someone who can't be trusted with little things won't suddenly become trustworthy when the stakes are high. Character is built small moments. It's revealed in small moments. Pay attention to them. The truth beneath words, truth 16. Questions reveal interest. Statements reveal self-absorption. In conversation, notice the balance between questions and statements. Does this person ask about your life? Do they follow up on things you mentioned before? Do they seem curious about your thoughts and experiences? Or do they mostly make statements about themselves? Do they wait for the slightest opening to redirect conversation back to their own story? We all know people who treat conversation like a waiting game. They're not listening. They're waiting for their turn to talk. They're not interested in you. They're interested in an audience. Real connection requires curiosity. It requires genuine interest in another person's inner world. Without that, you're just taking turns performing monologues. Truth 17. Defensiveness is often confirmation. When you bring up a concern and someone immediately gets defensive, that's information. Innocent people ask questions. They want to understand why you feel a certain way. They're open to feedback. Guilty people attack. They turn it around on you. They make you regret bringing it up. Defensiveness is a shield, and people only shield themselves when they have something to protect. This doesn't mean every defensive reaction proves guilt, but it means the reaction itself is worth noting. Why can't this person hear feedback calmly? Why do they need to immediately justify or counterattack? That pattern tells you something about their ability to take accountability. Truth 18. Compliments about superficial things versus deep things. Notice what people compliment you on. Do they only comment on your appearance, your possessions, your achievements, or do they notice your character, your kindness, your growth? Superficial compliments are easy. Anyone can say, "You look nice." Deep compliments require seeing someone. They require paying attention. They require valuing what matters. The things people compliment reveal what they value. If someone only ever notices surface-level things about you, they're relating to you on a surface level. They're not seeing the real you. And maybe they're not interested in the real you. That's worth knowing. Integrating the wisdom. Here's where this all comes together. Reading people isn't about judging them. It's not about being suspicious of everyone. It's about seeing clearly. It's about protecting your energy. It's about investing in relationships that are real and walking away from ones that aren't. Every single day, people show you who they are through their actions, through their patterns, through the gaps between what they say and what they do. Your job isn't to fix them. Your job isn't to give them endless chances to prove you wrong. Your job is to pay attention, to trust what you observe, to believe people the first time they show you their character. Most people ignore red flags because they want so badly for things to be different. They explain away concerning behavior. They make excuses for others that they would never accept for themselves. And then they're shocked when things fall apart. But it doesn't have to be that way. When you understand these psychological truths, when you apply them consistently, you stop being surprised by people. You see them for who they are from the beginning. And that clarity is freedom. You waste less time. You hurt less often. You build better relationships because you're choosing wisely. Reading people is a skill that changes everything. It changes your friendships. It changes your romantic relationships. It changes your professional life. It changes how you move through the world. Because when you can see beneath the surface, when you can spot the patterns, when you trust what people show you, you make better choices. You protect yourself better. You invest your energy wisely. These 18 truths aren't about becoming cold or cynical. They're about becoming aware. They're about understanding human nature so you can navigate it successfully. Some people will tell you to just trust everyone until they give you a reason not to. But that's naive. That's how people get hurt over and over. Instead, Observe everyone, watch their patterns. Let them earn your trust through consistency. Let them prove their character through time. The people who are genuine will appreciate this approach. They'll understand that trust is built, not assumed. The people who aren't genuine will get frustrated. They'll accuse you of being guarded or difficult. They'll try to rush intimacy, and that reaction itself tells you everything you need to know. Real people are patient. They understand that meaningful connection takes time. Fake people want access to you immediately. They need you to let your guard down so they can get what they want. Use these truths. Practice them. Watch people with new eyes. Notice the small things. Pay attention to patterns over time. Trust your observations. Your intuition will get stronger. Your judgment will get better. And your life will change because you'll be surrounding yourself with people who deserve you, people who are real, people who show up, people whose actions match their words. That's how you read people. That's how you protect yourself. That's how you build a life surrounded by genuine connection, instead of performance and disappointment. The truth is always there. You just have to be willing to see it. If this changed how you see people, hit subscribe for more psychological truths that actually matter.